Couple of things that stood out to me. I've been ranting about Anthony Fauci. Mr. Pardon, Anthony Fauci, how I still wanted to see him investigated. Well, turns out that USAID funneled $53 million to Eco Health Alliance. I don't know what that is. I really don't. Neither do you. But use taxpayer funds, $53 million worth, to support gain of function research at the Wuhan lab. The biggest thing for me, going all the way back to 2020, is as soon as the media started to kind of suppress the lab leak theory, it's Occam's razor, it's common sense to think that the, coronavirus probably escaped somehow, one way or another, human error. However it happened, doesn't matter how it happened, it escaped probably from the lab in the city in which it started. Eureka. Right? Why would they suppress that? Why would they suppress information saying that virtually that China was responsible for it? I mean, that would serve a lot of purposes domestically, right? Globally. If China was responsible for that, why would they want to suppress that? Oh, it's racist. No, not quite. There's something else here. First thing I thought of when I heard gain of function research at the Wuhan Institute was, were we doing this? Is this something we might be responsible for accidentally? Whatever. Was it our money, our funding that perhaps was engaging in this? Making this possible? Were our scientists actually doing it? Maybe, perhaps. But that makes more sense. That makes infinitely more sense why they would want that theory, why they would want that hunting dog shooed off the trail. If USAID money was being laundered through the Eco Health Alliance to fund gain of function research, at the Wuhan lab, something happened and it got out and killed how many people? Did what? To society as a whole? Economically, everything. Well, there it is. Maybe. Who are you going to trust? Who are you going to ask? Who are you going to believe? Who are you going to believe to tell you the truth on this now? There's nobody. You going to believe Dr. Fauci now? After he, all of his emails, if you haven't seen the emails, go find him where he's trying to suppress this entire lab. Well, here we go. $53 million laundered by USAID through the Eco Health Alliance to support gain of function research in Wuhan. I asked earlier, why are the bureaucratic rats and their protectors in U.S. government and Congress, why are they so up in arms about finding corruption, shedding light upon where our money has been going? Well, there's example number one, I assume. I'm going with it. Sue me. The other one that I saw, it really gets my goat. I'm not even talking about the transgender plays, promoting DEI in Bulgaria or whatever the fuck it was. I'm not even talking about that stuff. That stuff's too easy. The other one was USAID was sending money to news organizations. Friendly news organizations. How many subscriptions? $8 million in Politico subscriptions? If you think Politico is an independent-leaning news organization that they traffic in objectivity, you should go read Politico sometime. What about the New York Times? What about the Washington Post? The Washington Compost now? Have they gotten USAID money? Have they perhaps been rewarded for their favorable coverage pushing the woke agenda? helping the long march from the institutions into society at large? Have they? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm going to go with yes, because I don't expect Washington Post and the New York Times to admit it. Oh, Brian Stelter. This is another guy. We're calling him Tater now, by the way. Brian Stelter, the guy who was fired by CNN, their media expert. Wink, wink, wink. He was hired back. Now he's all up in he's trying to advocate, I say, for all of these independent news organizations like Associated Press got kicked out of the press briefings this week. And Trump got pissed off because they weren't calling it the Gulf of America. Go fuck yourself. Well, here's Brian Stelter. Independent. Associated Press was captured years ago. It used to be something good, I guess. But if you think that news organization is objective and independent and fair, it's really gone downhill in the last 2-3 years. Well, he's out there singing their praises. And I'm thinking to myself, that's what I call myself, I said, I'm sure that the people at Associated Press or anywhere else really wants the coveted Tater endorsement. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. This guy's been discredited, disgraced. And he's out there pretending like he's still an authoritative voice on the matter. Like he's still part of the establishment media, the dying establishment, antiquated legacy media. He's like a guy with a bucket on the deck of the Titanic. Scoop. Would do him some good. He needs to lose a little weight. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. But that's what he reminds me of. We're still relevant, goddammit. You need us. Do we? For what? What do we need you for, Brian? For the truth, really? Are you the truth ministry? The ministers of truth who tried to suppress the lab leak theory 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, and here we are 5 years later, finding out, probably was. I'm sorry. Sorry about canceling you. Sorry about censoring you when you tried to even mention it. Oops, our bad. Are you the truth ministry, Brian Stelter? Are you? Are you sure? The truth ministry that keeps telling us how men give birth. Oh. Or what we should call the Gulf of Mexico / America. It's the Gulf of Mexerica as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't matter to me. But are you really presuming to be the truth ministry still? I keep coming back to the same little image. Fiery, but mostly peaceful protests in Minneapolis following a police shooting. Fiery, but mostly peaceful protests as the city burns behind him. That's the truth ministry, kids. That is the supposed presumptive truth ministry. And they wonder why they're dying. Why they want Donald Trump to take a sledgehammer, a wrecking ball, through the walls of these institutions to find out what lies behind it. You can cling on. You can cling on. I don't speak Klingon, but you can cling on to the establishment, mainstream, legacy, antiquated media as long as you like. It's your right, it's your prerogative, but you had better try to understand when and why nobody else, virtually nobody else on either side, is willing to trust the ministers of truth anymore. I'm not thrilled with the fact that in many ways, we are the media now. Sharing things on social media, sharing things on X, Community notes policing disinformation, policing ourselves as far as disinformation goes, but it's failed. They have failed at their job miserably. Remember when Joe Biden was as sharp as a tack, sharp as he's ever fucking been? Really? Was he? Wouldn't appear so. Remember when the Truth Ministry was defending him, propping him up when they thought he was going to be the opposition candidate to Donald Trump? He's as good as he's ever been. Remember? I do. And you want to trust them again? You expect anyone to trust them again? Do you? Huh. How many of these conspiracy theories that we heard about, like Hunter Biden's laptop? There's a good one. How many of those conspiracy theories were shown to be true? Remember all those intelligence agencies that signed this letter denouncing Donald Trump, saying that Hunter's laptop or the Biden shit all had indications that it was Russian propaganda? And now you want to trust them? You want to trust the people who propagated that, put that out, shove that up the national rectum, informational butthole, and expected everybody to just eat it? A lot of people did. I did. You expect me to go back and trust those fuckers now? Do you want to go back and trust those fuckers now? How many people do? How many people want to go back and trust those people again? How dumb do you have to be? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 312 times. I guess it's my fault now. A lot of you are going to ask, a couple of people in particular, what does that mean, Todd? Where are we supposed to get the truth? Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. Where are we supposed to get our stories? You're going to start getting it from your tribe. You're going to have to pick a tribe. You're going to have to choose a tribe at some point. Or you're going to have to step outside. I talked about all of this, I guess, last week. Whenever it was. Leave the shit behind. Don't be the current events man, the public affairs expert who watches everything and has to commentate on everything. That's my job. But if you're really worried about getting the truth, if you think you're going to get the truth, maybe not. There's no solution to this. People are storytellers. People are deceivers. People are manipulators. Propaganda has been with us from the beginning, since the beginning of time in different forms. It's really been unleashed in the last couple of hundred years because of technology, but it's always been with us. It's who we are. We are tribal. So go to your tribe. Throw on your boots and join the fight. Choose a team. It's inevitable anyway. There were people in the Russian Revolution, the White Army, the Red Army. There were people back then who decided they didn't want to take part. They didn't want to participate. They didn't want to choose sides. They did not want to be part of the Red or the White Army. They didn't fare well when they encountered either or because the army didn't trust them. People in those armies, people in those camps didn't trust those who weren't. It's with us or against us kind of thing. You have a choice. You do. If you're concerned about the truth, if you really think that the truth is going to be decipherable in 5 years, when AI really kicks into gear, deepfakes, all that shit, if you think the truth is going to matter in 5 years more than it does now, It's what I like to call a message of hope. See, I can't believe Hallmark hasn't called. I applied. I sent my resume to Hallmark, I think in 2015. They still haven't contacted me. As much as I would like to think that I'm smart enough and I'm going to be able to figure all this out, that I'm going to be able to decipher the truth, I'm going to be able to tell truth from falsehood any better than any of you in the next several years. As much as I desperately want to believe that, I don't. The only thing that we can control, the only thing that we can be sure of is what's directly in front of our nose within the locus of control. The locus of observation, maybe. Maybe that's the better way to put it. What you can see and interpret and sense with your own eyes, your own ears, all of it. What's in front of you? What's in your immediate organic experience? Everything beyond that is in the hands of someone else. It's like a game of telephone. You can't see what's happening in Gaza. You can't see what's happening in New York City, in Washington, D.C. You can't see what's happening with Doge. You can't see the march through the institutions. You have to take somebody's word for it, whether or not it's true, which narrative you decide to embrace. You're going to have to choose a team eventually because objectivity is dead. Where are you going to go? Who do you think is objective now? Is there, in this country, in any country, who's objective now? Who's telling you the truth? Fuck you, Brian Stelter. I don't want to hear from you. Who is it? Do you speak propagandese? Are you going to be able to cut through every piece of propaganda? Are you going to be able to detect every single deepfake in 5 years? Informational anarchy is a real thing. We're pretty much there. You're going to have to choose. If you want to stay involved, even if you want to seem involved, you're going to have to choose a side at some point. You're going to be devoured by the factions. You're going to be that lone chimp that I talked about a couple of years ago, year and a half back. You're not going to be able to survive that. You can do it. Well, what effect are you going to have as that lone chimp who thinks he's found the truth nobody else can see? What are you going to do with it? You can pat yourself on the back, I guess. Maybe write a blog. Who's going to read it? How are you going to affect anything? If everybody else is entrenched in their camps, if they've all adhered to their doctrine and their scripture and their stories, their narratives, what are you going to do with your stuff? You going to win hearts and minds? You want me to dig out the Gustave Le Bon book back there? Start talking about the mob mentality again? How mobs are stupid. Not only are they stupid, they're fucking dangerous. Look at the streets. Look at the streets back in 2020. That's what happens when the individual cells, they enter these groups, they enter these mobs. The individual cells lose autonomy. They become part of a much bigger, much stronger, and much dumber, larger organism. Good luck. Hey, have fun. I wish you luck. Maybe if you're, maybe Arya Stark. Maybe you're the Arya Stark of mob rule. You're going to come in with your little stone knife. Maybe. Hey, I wish you luck. Film it. Send it to me. I want to see it. I do.